And we're live. For some reason, the team started late.
That's one
You
thing.
noticed? Hey
Let's see how.
guys, welcome back to the Adler podcast. Today is episode number 45, and it's good to be back. Very good to be back. I can hear myself. That's why I can hear myself speak. It's good to be back, Franco. How are you, first of all? Episode 45, almost 50.
Exactly 5 episodes to go for the Empty Man episode. All right, just to get that done and dusted. I'm good. I'm good. Actually, I had a bit of an accident this morning. So I not accident. So basically, I had to have an X-ray because I might have dislocated my jaw. So, but I'm having painkillers and whatnot. Anyway, and I went to Valletta, like on the way to work. Went to get not a sponsor, Dr. Juice. And I see this really interestingly dressed woman, and I thought, "Is that Jess Buckley? Is that Jessie Buckley?" And and my mind, I kept staring at this woman, and this woman is like, "What the fuck is here?" I basically creeped her out. I'm like, "Oh shit!" But anyway, before she left, this woman asked me like, "What is the Adler podcast all about?"
Good question, almost Jesse Buckley, who, by the way,
Almost.
today we will be mentioning. Almost. And the Adler podcast is all about movies, all about series, and all about video games. Today, Franco, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've got a bunch of trailers. We've got Olivia Colman in Wicked Little Letters. I was going to say liars. With obviously Olivia Colman and Jesse Buckley. We've got a trailer for Finestkind or Finestkind. I don't know how to say that, but apparently it's the title is one word. We'll talk about that. Not very good reactions to it on Rotten Tomatoes. Got 20%, but the trailer looks interesting. A very, very, very good looking trailer in Occupied City, which looks fantastic for our documentary there by McQueen. Leave the World Behind, which looks like a great Netflix movie. And also, talking about Netflix, we've got The Crown Season 6, which finally gave us an actual trailer for the upcoming part 1 of the series. We'll also just mention really quickly the trailers for Maestro and Blue Eye Samurai. Blue Eye Samurai, which, by the way, is coming out this Friday. Then for the news, we've got a lot of news, which we'll skim through. Obviously, we've got some unfortunate losses this past week. We're going to talk about the box office with Five Nights at Freddy's really doing well at the box office. We've got some Joe Russo versus Martin Scorsese jabs going on. We've got a Highlander reboot to talk about, Social Network sequel, SAG After Talks update, Killers of the Flower Moon, who had some controversy with regard to the intermissions. Malta might have something to say about that as well. More Disney delays, and we have a first actual look at Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Are we allowed to call them dwarves? That's been part of the controversy.
I don't know. Honestly, it's that first look is like, okay, I've seen enough, And let's not forget also news coming out from Malta about some suspensions of funding as well. Huh?
Yeah, that's some interesting news there as well. And to conclude, we have to talk about this. This is funny. I saw that the Black Phone 2 is in the works. Franco.
I haven't seen the first one yet, so
I haven't seen the first. I watched the first one. I have some thoughts about it. I'll comment about it later on. Fantastic Beasts apparently has been parked. That's the direct quote. And Gen Z apparently doesn't want sex in their movies.
Gen Z.
Okay. Gen Z don't want sex in their movies, apparently, according to a study. We'll talk about that later on. And then, if Joe manages to join us, he will give us his review for The Killer. That obviously depends if Joe will manage to make it or not. I will give you my review for The Royal Hotel, directed by Kitty Green. Suitable Flesh, unfortunately, I didn't manage to finish it. I will comment about it at the start. There's Five Nights at Freddy's as well to review. and obviously When Evil
Evil
Lurks,
Lurks.
which will be our final review of the day. That is what we have planned for the day. But before we get into it, obviously, this episode, like the past few episodes, is sponsored by Embassy Cinemas. Thank you, Embassy, for sponsoring this podcast. And let's have a quick look into what is going on right now at Embassy. Right now, obviously, we can see the Exorcist Believer on their front screen. We've got some movies here now showing Liam Neeson's Retribution. We've got DreamWorks Trolls Band Together, The Exorcist Believer, and obviously Killers of the Flower Moon. Let's have a look at what's going on right now. So, like we said, Liam Neeson's Retribution, an action movie there for action fans. You can generally expect a good bit of. Is it a black screen on yours, Franco?
Yes, it's a black screen so far.
I don't know why, because on mine it should.
Is Sabihat alive? By the way, hello to our viewers as well, and let's chat and give us any questions that you have on any movies that we watched.
Yes. So, and let us know if you're interested in watching any of these movies, including we've got, like I said, Retribution with Liam Neeson showing right now at Embassy Cinemas. We've got Trolls Band Together, which is looks like a fun little family movie there, one for the kids. There are some new Trolls on the block. Have you been a fan of the Trolls movies, Franco? Have you ever watched them? Or?
Yeah, I mean, no. No, I think most probably if you want to go with your kids and watch something light and something fun, Trolls have been. I think the first two were quite well received as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And good box office results as well. So
there you go.
They're doing well.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be making more if they weren't doing well at the box office. The Exorcist Believer, which is one for the horror movie fans. That's a movie which has caught quite some attention. Why is it? What's happening with
because we mentioned The Exorcist. That's why we're getting into the Halloween spirit. We have the Ghost in the Machine, and
why it's turning into a black screen. Anyways, then we've got Killers of the Flower Moon. Something's wrong with my screen. No, now it's working fine. Killers of the Flower Moon, which, of course, me and Franco got to watch last week. Very, very good movie, in my opinion. Highly recommend going to watch it. That's Killers of the Flower Moon, which we will be talking about later on as well. Five Nights at Freddy's, which me and Franco will be reviewing. Me and Franco will be reviewing today.
Only you'll be reviewing, because I haven't managed to watch it.
Oh, you haven't watched it, Franco?
No.
All right, so it was Joe who watched it.
After When Evil Lurks, I'm like,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, for the time being. Although, like, I would have wanted to watch Five Nights at Freddy's after a heavyweight movie like When Evil Lurks.
It's a different kind of horror. Let's put it that way. A very different kind of horror to what you get in When Evil Lurks.
Exactly.
This is obviously one that is, again, just like Exorcist Believer, has attracted a lot of attention. It's gotten all the video gamers out of their smelly rooms and into the cinemas.
Out of the
I
basement.
saw a review on Letterboxd, which made me laugh about this. Congrats to Five Nights at Freddy's, and I forgot what other video game movie there was this year. Was it? What was the other?
Gran Turismo, no?
There was Gran Turismo and some other stuff, which finally managed to get the smelly gamers out of their basement. But it's a fun movie. Don't get me wrong. Five Nights at Freddy's is a very, very fun movie. We'll talk about it later on in our reviews. A Haunting in Venice, still going strong. That's a very fun detective horror movie. Again, very good if you're into horror and whodunits. It's a good mixture of both. I enjoyed it. Saw X, which is showing only at 8:45 in the evening, so make sure you check it out. And that's a highly, highly well-reviewed part of the Saw franchise. And I think that is pretty much it. So thank you very much to Embassy Cinemas for sponsoring this podcast. And now let's get into it. Franco, tell me, that's one of the movies we'll be talking about. What have you been up to this week?
Nothing much. Now I'm reading a book called The Premonitions Bureau, which feels like it's documenting apparently a real bureau that existed within a newspaper in England back in the 60s, and basically documented all the premonitions that happened before, apparently before any disasters. And it was apparently a legitimate research done by a psychologist back in the day to see like if there's any connection or any pattern. And yeah, so far so good. It's really interesting, but and I'm still like, is this real or is this not? But then sometimes they show the photos as well. By the way, I'm noticing
Okay.
that my video is lagging a bit, but is the sound okay?
Yes, yes. On my case, it's fine. In my case, it's fine.
Okay, okay. No, on the YouTube feed, that's what I'm noticing. Yeah, otherwise, I've watched When Evil Lurks. Nothing much, just a dislocated jaw, creeping people out unintentionally. uh, if it was Jesse Buckley, sorry, Jesse Buckley, please become a friend of the show.
Yeah, please.
And yeah, tomorrow I'm looking forward for tomorrow. What's tomorrow?
Yes, Video Nasties 2023, because tomorrow, me, Franco, and unfortunately, obviously, Joe cannot come, but he will be with us in spirit. We will be giving our judgment. We will be deciding the goriest scene, the goriest movie. What were the others, Franco?
The
I
jump
have the
scare,
whole list in there.
jump scare, most inventive death.
So I have best jump fright, most inventive death, most puke-worthy moment, craziest twist ending, achievement in gore, and the special WTF is wrong with you award. Thank you, Bruce, for trusting us with judging over your small little film festival. We are very honored
and
that you're choosing us.
at least we all agreed on who's number one, but you'll find out tomorrow what is our number
Definitely,
one.
definitely, 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 definitely. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. So I want to take some photos tomorrow, Franco. We need
Okay.
to up our game on the social media aspect.
True. We're such boomers. We're not on our phones every
We
day.
are, we are, we are, we are, we are. Unfortunately, it's a reality. We are boomers in this aspect. We need to improve on that. I think that's the one thing I feel like we need to improve on, which is our
True.
social media game, our TikToks, our. Tomorrow, for example, we can do a TikTok. I think it's a good idea to make
Yeah,
a good TikToks
we could do a TikTok, and I mean, if you want, I can quit my job and go full on TikTok on the podcast. No, 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 no. Yeah, but so far that's what I have, and maybe I should get a bit more because usually I'm trying to leave most of the time for watching movies in the weekends rather than
Okay,
weekdays.
all right. All
But
right.
yeah,
Good, good, good.
that's all. How about you? What have you been watching?
I've watched a few series, updated myself on Gen V. Share it with you. So I've been watching Gen V religiously, basically, really having a good time. Last episode was episode 7, and that was really, really, really fun. Guys in the chat, guys and gals in the chat, let us know in the comment section below if you have been watching Gen V. If you haven't, what are you doing with your life? We're also watching Lessons in Chemistry, which is I wouldn't call it. It's a very good series. I wouldn't call it fun per se. Although to be fair, the last episode was actually quite funny, which is something that Francesca mentioned when we were talking about Lessons in Chemistry together. And she mentioned the book is actually quite funny, and I was like, first 2 episodes were quite depressing. Not very funny.
That's Brie Larson. Yeah.
It's Brie Larson, yeah.
Okay.
But the last episode was actually really, really funny. I very much liked the last episode that came out. So highly recommend checking out Lessons in Chemistry. I've been having a good time with that. What else have I been watching? I didn't actually watch Loki. I'm usually updated on Loki. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to watch it. I'll probably get to watch it this week. And then I watched a bunch of movies. I watched When Evil Lurks with my family. That was quite the experience. When Evil Lurks.
Did your mother stay? She manage to stay?
Yes, she did actually.
Okay,
She did. My dad seemed to enjoy it. We'll talk about it later on in summer. I watched Five Nights at Freddy's, which was, in my opinion, fun, but I'll comment about it obviously in the review section. I started Suitable Flesh. Unfortunately, I had written on Twitter that I would be reviewing it on the podcast, but didn't manage to finish it. So far, I've been having an okay time.
X, please. Don't that name Twitter.
X.
Oh, sorry,
X, X.
I did name Twitter. Sorry.
No, I've been having a good time watching it. I'm gonna be honest; it's not like gonna win any awards. But I really like the transitions in Suitable Flesh. There's some really fun transitions. It's like a movie straight out of the like late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
One of those like possession movies. It's good fun. And it's, you can tell Joe Lynch really likes his horror. Like the director really loves his horror. There's lots of references to like those classic 80s possession movies. You can tell right away. There's like it's made by someone who loves horror. So I've been having a good time watching it. I'll talk about it more next week. I think that is pretty much my week. The Royal Hotel. I watched the Royal Hotel as well with my dad, which I'll review later on as well. That is pretty much my week. So I think, Franco, with that, we can get into the trailers. And before we get into the trailers,
we get into the
everyone
news.
in the chat, let us know in the comment section below, what have you been up to? What have you been watching? Please let us know in the comment section below. And as always, please like the video, like. And even if you're watching this after, because I know we get most of our views after the stream, please don't forget to subscribe. Most of our viewers are not subscribed to our channel, so please, and the majority of our viewers, please do go ahead and subscribe. That helps us with the algorithm.
Appease the algorithm gods. Appease the algods. The algods. Algorithm gods.
Let's get into our trailers. And to start off, we're going to start with trailer number 1, which is a trailer which I had no idea existed, but friend of the show and almost, well, quite consistent joiner of the show, Francesca.
Maybe she should join us now.
Let us know about. Let us know about. I think I'm sharing the whole screen. I want to share the window, not the screen. There we go. With Olivia Colman starring. What is wrong with the share screen today? Something's up with the share screen.
I'm telling you, Ghost in the Machine, or maybe it's Joe. It's missing Joe.
I don't know why this share screen today is really messing up. Something's up with the share screen with reverse side. Anyways, so the trailer for.
Wicked Little Letters.
So, how does it look like that on your screen, Franco? Just before I.
No, it's still strange. It's just like widescreen. No, it's fine. So
1 second. If it's like this, is this good? Like this?
It's fine like this. Is it good? Chat, let us know, please. Anyone who's in the chat. So like this is fine. Like this is fine. So something's.
But the thing is, it's not supposed to share on the whole window. I'm pressing one window, which is very weird. Anyways, I don't know what's up with reverse side today. Oh my god!
But before it was good. So what's happening right now? You're just. Like this, maybe it's zoomed. Is it zoomed?
I have no idea. 1 second. Share. Let me share it like this.
Issa biħata live.
Okay. The weird thing is, it's the screen is not. Oh, I hate when stuff doesn't work, especially when it's live. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put full screen. And you can see the full screen there. I think that's better like that. Anyways, let's get into it, guys. So, trailer number 1. First of all, thank you to Francesca for bringing it to our attention. Sorry for that. It was good for a moment. All right, 3. Yeah, I think it should be fine now. I'm just sharing the whole window.
Okay.
Anyways, let's get into it, guys. So, Olivia Colman has a foul mouth in first Wicked Little Letters trailer. So Francesca brought this trailer to our attention. It's a an interesting trailer, to put it that way. Director Thea Sharrock is bringing the most profane chapter of British history to life in her upcoming movie, Wicked Little Letters, starring Olivia Colman and Jessie Buckley. Set in the 1920s, the black comedy feature is based on a real scandal that stunned people, wherein a series of profane letters started dropping into everyone's mailboxes with no suspect in sight. To hype the audiences for the upcoming feature, a red band trailer has been unveiled by the makers. And let's have a quick look at the trailers. Franco, you got to watch Wicked Little Letters. Tell me, what do you think? Did this trailer catch your attention?
Definitely, you have like solid actresses like actors like Olivia Colman and Jessie Buckley. There's also is that Spall? What's his name? Another mainstay in the British acting community. Oh, it's interesting. It feels like it's in the vein of Pete, not Peter Capaldi, Armando Iannucci, and it's fun. Seems fun. I'm looking forward to watch it as well.
Very much so. Very much so. The thing about this, especially that I'm really liking,
Oh,
unfortunately, it's a
okay.
crime to play to show this video without the audio because the audio is everything in this, right?
It's Timothy Spall. Timothy Spall. I got the name.
Timothy Spall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, the cast is great. Like you mentioned, Franco, very, very good cast. You know, I'm a massive fan of Olivia Colman. I'll watch anything with Olivia Colman in it. Jessie Buckley as well, I love. So perfect cast for me here. But it's the humor that got me. I laughed like 4, 5, 6 times watching this trailer, which is not a common thing. I generally don't laugh at trailers because I feel like it's just, you know, they put that line at the end of the trailer where you're meant to laugh, and I never laugh. There's always that thing with trailers. But this trailer is constantly me laughing. And I think seeing Jessie Buckley and Olivia Colman at the one thing I'll say I didn't like maybe about this trailer is that it does kind of give away the whole
premise.
line.
Yeah.
That at the start they hate each other, but then they become friends, and then they kind of like they're fighting the patriarchy at the end, right? Like you can see the whole thing working out that way. But apart from that, I think this is a very, very well edited trailer.
Yep.
Everyone watching this in the chat, go and watch it after the podcast because it's a crime. It's a crime that right now we cannot play the audio. But unfortunately, if we play the audio and we play the whole video, we know this podcast will be blocked by YouTube. So obviously, we cannot do that. So this is one movie, Franco, I am very much looking forward to.
When is it going to be released, by the way?
So it's scheduled to be released in the United Kingdom on February 23rd, 2024.
Oh, so okay. So.
Probably one will get on streaming later on. So that's Wicked Little Letters. Moving on to It's the End of Everything. End of Everything, which looks really, really good.
End
so
of
we've
Everything?
got the trailer
No.
for Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind. Okay.
Which looks like a fantastic little movie by Netflix. Netflix has just dropped the full-length trailer for their next film, Leave the World Behind, which brings together a stunning A-list cast for a world-ending piece of filmmaking. The cast, which includes Julia Roberts, we've got Ethan Hawke, we've got Charlie Evans, Farrah McKenzie, Mahershala Ali. Fantastic cast. What is it all about? Basically, it's a gripping apocalyptic thriller brought to life by the award-winning writer and director Sam Esmail. Apparently, they've rented a lavish weekend retreat with their children, Archie and Rose. However, their idyllic vacation takes an unexpected turn when 2 strangers and his daughter, Ruth, arrive unannounced in the dead of night. Sam Esmail, by the way, Franco, have you watched Mr. Robot?
Mr. Robot. I've watched a bit of Mr. Robot. Very well filmed. That was quite good. I think the only thing I like so far, because in Oppenheimer he was quite good, of Rami Malek.
Yes, that's true, because we had Rami Malek in that. Very, very good performance by Rami Malek in that. Apparently, I haven't watched Mr. Robot, so I can't comment.
Oh, it's
Oppenheimer though.
It's very good. Oppenheimer was good. This character in Mr. Robot fit him like a glove. And yeah, this trailer looks very interesting, and there's it seems like it's going to be lots of twists going around, especially when suddenly they're like, "What are you doing in my house?" Like, what's going on now? It has. Would you say it has a bit of A24 vibes?
It does, it does, it does. I was going to mention that, in fact. I was going to mention
Yeah.
that. It's reminded, you know what it really reminded me of? Obviously, very different, very different. Jordan Peele's Us.
Us, yes, 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 yes.
Very much reminded me of Us, but obviously completely different
Yeah,
elements
and
to
we
but
still don't know what the whole cyber tech is about. Cyber attack.
yes, because there's the element of the apocalyptic as well in this, which is interesting. What I do hope it doesn't do is bite off too much than it can chew. That's one thing that worries me with these kinds of movies, because sometimes they try to tackle too many, either try to be many different movies, because there seems to be a bit of element of thriller in this. There seems to be
Mm,
some humor as well. And then there's the obviously the apocalyptic side of things. So hopefully they don't tackle too many things at once. But I'm gonna
yeah.
be honest with you, it seems beautifully shot. Like, some of the scenes are beautiful. Fantastic cast. Mahershala Ali, I adore. I can
Hmm.
watch anything with Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke. I love, even though I'm going to say a lot of shit about Black Phone 2 later on. Julia Roberts, who doesn't love Julia Roberts? So fantastic cast. Some really, really nice shots. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Again, I hope they don't bite off too much than they can chew. It's going to be on Netflix on December 8th, so be interesting to watch. I'm looking forward to this one, Franco.
To be honest, and I'm unlucky that we don't have Joe on the pod. I was going to say a quick comment about Netflix and its release. Dude, why they're not releasing movies in cinemas? Because I feel like they're only doing it on select cinemas. Even Declare Joe said that in Scotland it was only there for 4 days. Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's a Fincher movie, reteaming with the seven author, and with Michael Fassbender, Tilda Swinton. So quite there are the stars to pull in the money, and they only have it on cinemas for 4 days. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Netflix?
The only reason, Franco, the only reason why they show it in cinemas for 4 days is for the awards. Just that's it. Because if they're not shown in cinemas, they won't be eligible for the Academy
Very,
Awards. That's the
yeah,
only reason why.
very, very cynical. Because at least at Apple, what they're doing is much better as far as Killers of the Flower Moon is concerned. And that is also like this sure going to be like Oscar for sure.
Oh, it could be, could be, could be. Anyways, moving on to the next trailer. We've got, I have no idea how you pronounce
I
this.
think I think
Finest kind,
I
finest
think
kind,
Finestkind, because
finest kind.
kind is kind is child, as far as I know, or and that's
Anyways,
yeah.
I thought it was two words at the start. When I saw this, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
finest
finest
kind.
kind. Yeah, yeah.
But it is one word. This is one word. Anyways, so we got an interesting trailer. Let's put it that way. And I agree, the cast of Finestkind is looking pretty sensational in the official trailer for the Paramount Plus film, which arrives on the streamer on December 15, featuring an all-star cast, includes the likes of Tommy Lee Jones, Jenna Ortega, Ben Foster, and Toby Wallace. The action hits hard in this drama about a family who finds themselves in dire straits after they become wrapped up in a money-making scheme that goes horribly awry. Franco, I don't know if you had a look at this trailer.
Yeah.
What did you think?
No, it looks. You told me that the initial reactions are not that
Very,
positive.
very negative. Very negative.
Yeah, it looks very well shot. I thought it was going to be a series, to be honest, but it's not. Tommy Lee Jones. I'm glad to see that Tommy Lee Jones is making a gentle comeback, because I feel he's quite he's getting old, man.
Yes, yes, yes. In the burialist, when I was watching the burialist, I was like, Jesus, he's really getting old
Yeah,
now.
yeah, you
And in
can feel
this,
it.
you can feel it as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
And Ben Foster, man,
Oh,
Ben.
it's the boat. That's why.
And Ben Foster is. I feel like he's very underrated actor. He needs to be in more movies.
He needs a better agent. He needs a better agent, I
For
think,
sure, for
because he's
sure.
been in a few projects which have been quite disappointing, to be honest. He's a fantastic actor. He's a fantastic actor.
Yeah, yeah. If they, he's got so much potential.
Yeah, and unfortunately, from the first reactions, I looked at Rotten Tomatoes. It's at 20%, and most of the first reactions seem very, very, very negative, extremely negative. So, not looking very good for this for Finestkind.
Is this is?
Personally, sorry, Franco.
It seems like this is the first movie by Paramount Plus.
This is a streamer-only movie, so this is not coming out in any cinemas, just for Paramount Plus. I doubt it's the first movie for Paramount Plus, to be honest. I doubt it. Could be, but I seriously doubt it. And I don't get what went wrong with this, because you've got even the directors. You've got a fantastic
Brian
director,
Helgeland, man.
Brian Helgeland, LA Confidential, and Mr. Criver. So you've got a fantastic, fantastic director there, and the creator of this. So I honestly don't know what went wrong. We'll know obviously on December 15th when we get to watch it. Because this will come out directly on streaming, so no cinemas, unfortunately, directly on streaming. And the cast, man, the cast is so good. Like, I don't get how he can get this wrong. From what I saw from the first reactions, seems like most critics agree that it's a mishmash of ideas. I also had a look at the Collider review. It was right at the bottom of this. The Collider reviewer said that it's like a mishmash of ideas. Basically, none of it
Sticks.
kind of sticks and makes for a good movie. However, one review caught my attention because it said like the opening of the movie is weak, very weak. There's this, and they agreed that there's this mishmash of ideas. But when the villain enters into the movie, like midway through, it becomes a much grittier version of the film and improves a lot. So the second half, said this particular reviewer. I forgot whether it was for Variety or for one of the news websites we use generally for our podcast, and said that it improves quite a bit. So, I mean, some hope there, but 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, not looking good at all. Moving on to a trailer which looks, Franco, excellent. I don't know if you had a look at this trailer, but this trailer looks really, really, really good. And we're talking about the trailer for Occupied City, which is an A24 4-hour documentary.
I did, and I also have some comments about this, like not my own,
Okay.
but anyway, later on, just let's let the people know what's Occupied City about.
Exactly. So, and I agree with Collider that one of the best ways to understand the state of society in the present is taking a hard look at the past. This is what acclaimed filmmaker Steve McQueen decided to do with his new project, a 4-hour documentary called Occupied City. In it, the director draws a parallel of a society's behavior back when the Nazi Party started to gain traction in the early 1940s and its similarities with the rise of far-right movements in the 21st century. Distributed by fan-favorite production company A24, the documentary premieres in US theaters on December 25th. Franco, so you have thoughts.
So no,
What do you think?
So the trailer looks amazing. The shots look great, but some reactions from audience members. I forgot whether I saw it on. I don't know if it was on Instagram or on Facebook. They said this movie is too long for its own good, like a 4-hour documentary, and in a sense, like. How long it's true, it's like you're watching it's almost like you're watching an art installation, in cinema. So would you, because if I put myself into the audience shoes, would you stick for hours of just watching city shots, beautifully shot nonetheless, but for hours?
That's the issue, right? 4 hours. I mean, it depends on how. Because there's a lot of elements to a documentary, right? You've got the narration. How good is the narration? We've got how informative and how interesting is the information presented. You've got the topic itself. I think documentaries are very topic specific. If it's a topic that you like, you're probably going to enjoy watching it. It's not like with movies. Movies, Like I'm not the I'm a big fan of horror, right? Horror.
Mm.
Action is maybe not always my cup of tea, but if it's a good action movie, I can watch it. If it's a documentary about a topic that I'm not interested in, even it could be the best documentary ever. Probably not going to
No,
manage
no,
to watch it.
but that's what they says. Like they understood what Steve McQueen was trying to do with this documentary, but it's overindulgent.
Mm. 4 hours. 4 hours is a very long time to watch a documentary.
No, and
Probably might be because I don't know. Maybe it's one you could watch in segments, like maybe 1 hour segments.
that's why they said it looked more like an art installation rather than something to be seen in cinema. I mean, I feel like I would watch it. I would watch it at home on my own. Like I think again it has a point to say. I think
Hmm.
is this going to be released in the same time as Zone of Interest?
Occupied City is set to premiere in US theaters on December 25th.
25th. Because I
You can
might
see Collider's review.
I might
So,
feel
there we go.
see.
So Collider, same comment, makes an impact, but the 4 hour runtime hurts it. That's at Cannes Film Festival. Interesting, interesting,
It's
interesting.
they have to. I'm sorry, they have to 4 hours and 3 hours 60 seconds. I'm really glad Joe's not here because I win this debate now. No, so and they have. I think big name directors they have to like hold a bit their horses. 4 hours and 3 hour 30 minutes. We're
True,
pushing it.
true,
We're
true, true,
pushing
true.
it. I
Sometimes
mean,
we are pushing it a little bit.
it will undermine their craft because Steve McQueen was saying here it's not like and even Martin Scorsese. And speaking of Martin Scorsese, no, we still have more trailers. I fucked the segue.
Um, no, no, no. Because we have a couple more, just this trailer to talk about, because the rest, obviously, are trailers we've already commented about, just second version of the trailers. But for fans of The Crown, we've got season 6 coming up. It's coming out in two parts. Part 1 on November 16th, part 2 on December 14th. Very, very, very excited for that. And obviously, Netflix has released a trailer for the final season of its highly successful and long-running drama series, The Crown, which will bring the story of the British royal family to a conclusion. Final season will focus heavily on the final days of Elizabeth II's Princess Diana and the aftermath of her death that saw the public reputation of both Queen Elizabeth II and the royal family in tatters amongst the British public. Um, uh, Nothing much to say here. I mean, I love The Crown. Everyone knows, everyone who watches this podcast knows how much I love The Crown. Again, I think the cast for The Crown is just absolutely fantastic. Costumes are great. The it's shot beautifully, beautiful set pieces, beautiful locations. Everything is great about it. I mean, I'm just so excited. I'm actually, this is one of the things, however, Franco, that has me a little positive because Netflix has recently been releasing some of its more popular series in two parts, which, in my opinion, is a good sign. In my opinion, it's a good sign because it means that maybe Netflix are noticing that not releasing everything together
Mm-hmm.
is maybe the way to go. Just maybe they're not completely convinced that they should release one episode every week. But it's got my hopes up. It got my hopes up. Maybe in a few years' time, they'll notice that, listen, if you release an episode every week, like with Gen V, for example, look at Gen V, which started off not as a very, very popular series, but eventually it got into the top 10 most viewed series because of this weekly release. And people talking to other people, good word of mouth, and
Yeah,
people
good
telling
word of
everyone,
yeah,
listen,
yeah.
watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. And now it's in the top 10 original series. On the I forgot what the name of the ranking is called. Nils ranking, something like that. You
This rank,
mentioned it a few times.
this ranking.
It's basically the ranking of top 10 most viewed original streaming shows and top 10 most viewed shows released anytime. Kind of it's the one which always dominates, basically.
Mm.
Anyway, so obviously I'm very, very excited for The Crown. Like, so looking forward to that. To conclude with the trailers, guys, we've got a trailer for Maestro, new trailer for Maestro, and a new trailer for Blue Eye Samurai. Franco, I don't know if you want to comment about those. All I wanted to say is that Blue Eye Samurai comes out on Friday. So if you're a fan of Samurai, check
I'm
it out. The animation looks amazing.
amazing.
Franco.
Like I think I will watch it. This is a series, right?
It's a series.
I'm gonna have a look at it. I'll continue Castlevania as well because I was enjoying Castlevania.
This looks great. This looks great. And obviously Maestro, I mean, what is there to say about it? It looks fantastic. Like it's shot on film, right? This is shot on film, definitely.
I think it has different sections shot differently, and
yes. Even the aspect ratio.
and yeah, with the aspect ratio, and I'm sorry, I mean, there was that whole controversy about the makeup and whatnot. Like Jesus Christ, he looks the part, man, and even his even his kids had no qualms whatsoever.
Yes. I mean, every shot is stunning in this. Like this looks fantastic.
Bradley Cooper, man, I think. Let's see. How I hope won't be another. I hope this won't be another 4-hour magnum opus. But man, I still haven't got around to watch A Star Is Born by Bradley Cooper, but he seems like
I would watch it. Franco. It's I had a very good time watching.
No,
Star Is Born.
It's highly recommended. Like even Maravella liked it, and this looks so promising as well. I think he's a filmmaker to keep an eye on.
Definitely. Great actor and great director. So we can obviously watch it on Netflix on December 20th. It's releasing in select theaters across the United States on November 22nd. So we will check it out. Probably this will be one of the fun Christmas movies to check out. Obviously, definitely not Christmassy, but still releasing in Christmas time. Good for the holidays, though. That's actually a smart release date for Netflix. So that's it with the trailers. Let us know, guys, gals, in the comment section below. Let us know if any of these trailers have piqued your interest. Let us know in the comment section below. As always, like and subscribe, guys. Like, subscribe. Let's get into the news. And unfortunately, we're not going to start with very good news because this past week, we lost two great actors, two great personalities, Richard Roundtree and Friends star Matthew Perry, who we lost. Rest in peace. Franco, I don't know if you wanted to comment about this.
Well, I mean, it's always unfortunate. Richard Roundtree, I mean, he's died at 81, something to be expected. Old age is not, especially after a short battle with pancreatic cancer, doesn't help with having old age. Richard Roundtree, you know, this is another reason why I have to get around watching some blaxploitation movies. Like there are some really good movies. Like Richard Roundtree was the original Shaft, and he was also in Ganja and Hess, remade by Spike Lee as well as The Sweet Blood of Jesus. And we should. It's unfortunate. And then Matthew Perry, obviously, I think all people would know more about Matthew Perry. He was a staple for, I think, Gen X. So I think we're Gen Xers, right?
We are the millennials.
Yeah, millennials.
I don't know which gen is that.
Zillennials. We're Zillennials because since we're. I mean, we've grown up with Matthew Perry. Basically, the 90s was ruled by Friends, and that's at 54.
Did you watch Friends, Franco?
Here and there, but the few times I watched it was quite funny. It's like, and obviously when you watch it when you're like 7 years old, you don't, some of the jokes like go, over your head. But now watching it again, it's like, Jesus Christ, okay, that's what they meant.
Yes. There was some commentary, in fact, about how like some of the Friends episodes maybe are not politically correct and not.
Yes, in fact, funny enough, one of the episodes had to do with Matthew Perry, the Chandler's trans parent. I forgot who. I forgot who was the. I think Kathleen Turner. Was it Kathleen Turner that was playing his?
I don't know. I haven't watched it, so I can't comment
Yes,
about
yes,
about it.
Kathleen Turner. It was Kathleen Turner.
Anyways, so rest in peace, Matthew Perry, and rest in peace, Richard Roundtree. Unfortunately, I was watching a video with Matthew Perry in which he was commenting about like how during I think it was season 6 of Friends, there's basically like 3 years of his life where he has literally no memories
Mm-hmm.
with his addiction to drugs and alcohol. He was like.
Mm.
So again, there's no so far police. There's no evidence as to why, what was the cause of Matthew Perry's death, which is very unfortunate. But obviously, there's that past to which we have to comment about, obviously, which is very unfortunate. So rest in peace, Matthew Perry, and rest in peace, Richard Roundtree. Moving on to the box office, and today, obviously, we will be reviewing Five Nights at Freddy's. However, before we get into the review, obviously we have to comment about how well Five Nights at Freddy's has done at the box office. Man, it tied Black Widow. Do you know what that means? Tying with a big Marvel
It's
movie,
Marvel
like
movie.
this little Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Like that's for me, that's insane. That's insane. Like I don't get how that's even possible. Because obviously Black Widow also released both in theaters and on streaming. That's why there's that comparison. Anyways, in America, it made up to 80 million, and I believe it also made another 80 million worldwide. So that's like doing really, really well. Apparently, gamers do like going to the cinema if there's a movie which they are interested in. What do you think, Franco?
Yeah. I mean, like they said, like you said, like don't add Andrea. By the way, guys, if you're a gamer, okay. Yeah, they're. It's interesting. I think I should see what Joe Russo thinks about this actually.
Because Joe Russo had very interesting. That's why I put it right after. Because talking
Yeah.
about the box office, Joe Russo had an interesting little jab to give. Actually, I'm sure this video. I'm sure this video we can share. Actually, let me see that I make sure that I share it and I have audio on. So also share tab audio. Perfect. So let's get into it. So guys, gals in the chat, this is a video, a reel shared by the Russo brothers on their Instagram.
Yep. Is the sound playing? I think it's muted.
Is it muted? It should be. Man, reverse side today. I have
It's not-
also shared tab audio, so it should be on. The audio should be on. Anyways,
No, maybe
for
it's
anyone
mute.
who
Maybe it's mute on the reel itself. That's what I'm saying.
I was hearing
play
the
it.
audio. I was hearing the audio.
Okay, so then most probably it's fine.
Anyways, to basically explain what's going on here, is Martin Scorsese made this little video, right, with his daughter. I can't hear myself think with Joe Russo talking. Anyways, apparently, 1 second, because I'm not sharing the window. Entire screen, share. So anyways, Martin Scorsese made this little video, this really cute video with his daughter. As fans of Martin Scorsese will know, he's been making a lot of little videos with his daughter on Twitter and Instagram. He even made a Letterboxd account, and in a few days, he became the most popular Letterboxd account. In just like 2 days, everyone kind of like subscribed to his account. And he made this little cute video where he has his dog and he calls him Oscar, obviously because of his Oscar. And for some very weird reason, Joe Russo made this like very passive aggressive video in which I absolutely have no idea why he obviously calls his dog box office. Obviously that's a little jab at Martin Scorsese because his latest movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, is not doing that amazing at the box office. And nobody expected 3-hour and 30-minute movie about Osage people being murdered too great at the box office, right? I don't think we're expecting Avengers Endgame numbers. Let's be honest. Anyways, what I really loved about this, Franco, were the reactions. And this is the one that really caught my attention. So Joe Russo took hundreds of millions from Netflix to make whatever he wanted and came up with The Grey Man. Marty got hundreds of millions from Netflix and Apple and made The Irishman and Killers of the Flower Moon. I know which movies people will talk about in 20 years. Look at this, look at this. Scorsese used his clout to cash his biggest check and make a Jeremiah work on America's founding sin and the bottomless pit of human sin. Joe Russo used his success to frame a shot from inside Tom Holland's anus.
What? What's this?
I don't know what movie this is. I don't remember this shot.
Cherry? Is it Cherry? No way.
I have no idea. Cruel of Joe Russo to name his dog Visual Illiteracy. I guess The Grey Man is no longer the most embarrassing thing directed by Joe Russo.
Ooh.
In 50 years, no one will know who Joe Russo is. Let's just be honest. Joe Russo is a rich asshole hack who won the lottery when Feige plucked him from obscurity and let him tag along.
Not necessarily from obscurity, because they were quite. I think it's also why the Marvel movies are experiencing a fatigue, because the Russo brothers had a good TV career behind them before they jumped onto this cinematic career. And that's why some of the movies are starting to look mostly looking like they're ready to be streamed. So let's give that. But yeah, about these videos, like really, is it still about numbers versus art? And not to mention that Scorsese did say it's like 5 for them, 1 for me. He says so. I think Killers of the Flower Moon was 1 for him as well.
Yeah. So this is very awkward. Some people said he's just joking, but no, it doesn't feel very jokey, to be honest. From the video, it feels very passive aggressive, in my opinion, of course. Obviously, people can disagree with that. But for me, it felt very, very passive aggressive. Obviously, keeping in mind. Yeah, go ahead, Franco.
I just googled Tom Holland anus, and apparently there is a butthole scene in Cherry.
Oh, no. I'm so happy I haven't watched that movie.
It's like it's rectal exam by the doctor. Why? What? Why?
Jesus, that's
to be fair, Cherry seemed to have some good, interesting ideas, but not exactly a movie to write home about. Anyways, like. Speaking of box office, like how much did it do, or was it just shown on Netflix? So.
By the way, Franco, can you do me a favor? Please send me the link of that article that you sent me before. By the way, so I will comment about that.
Of which one?
The one you sent me about the funding.
Oh, true. Just a second. Let's.
All right. In the meantime, moving on to the next one. So we commented about this, Franco, the Chad Stahelski and Henry Cavill-led Highlander, quite a few months ago, and finally we have confirmation that there can in fact be more than one. As Deadline reports that Lionsgate is officially moving forward and starting sales for the reboot of the 1980s fantasy adventure Highlander, directed by John Wick Helmer, Chad Stahelski. The action-adventure fantasy story currently has Henry Cavill attached as the lead, though whether he will be playing Connor McLeod, originally portrayed by French actor Christopher Lambert. I always found that funny. A Frenchman as a Scotsman, like
yes,
or another immortal, has yet to be revealed. Deadline describes the film as John Wick with swords, which is interesting considering there's Chad Stahelski now leading the Highlander reboot. Franco, I forgot what we had said about this. Were you excited about this or not? I honestly forgot what you had thought about it.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see what's going to happen, because again, I was. Do we need another reboot? That's what I'm going to say. But maybe who knows? Who knows? Chad Stahelski is not. He's not. Let's not underestimate him. He gave us some great. Some great actioneers. So maybe it's in good hands.
By the way, hello to Destiny. She's one of my ex-students now
Oh,
in, I
Destiny.
think Destiny now is in Liceo. So hello, Destiny. Welcome to the podcast. Don't know if it's your first time here, but welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. I think she's still in Liceo. No, I forgot if it's like 2 or 3 years ago that I taught her. Probably still in Liceo though. She is. She's still probably in year 11 now. So
If I say
hello to Destiny.
you don't remember her, you don't know if
I've
she's
been
doing the
teaching.
show.
No, I mean, I remember Destiny, but I don't remember how long it was. I've
At
been a teacher for 9 years now, Franco. I'm getting old.
at him, Destiny, at him. No, I'm trying to get. I'm trying to. By the way, I'm trying to get the link, but apparently it's just so far. It's just on the Sunday Times of Malta. I will.
No worries, Franco. In the
I'll-
meantime, to comment about Highlander before we move on to the social network. That's an interesting one.
Oof.
Social network too. With regard to Highlander, like we had commented a long time ago, I only watched the first one. I really liked the first Highlander. I had a very good time watching it. I think, to be honest, it would be a weird reboot though, because is there anyone actually asking for a Highlander reboot? I don't know how successful this could be in the box office. Don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. But maybe with Henry Cavill as the lead. I mean, let's be honest. Henry Cavill as Geralt was fantastic. It was a match made in heaven.
Mm.
And I think the Geralt role is very similar, right, to the Highlander role. So I think that is perfect casting. Chad Stahelski obviously knows what he's doing when it comes to action. There's obviously lots of neon lighting in Highlander as well, especially in the modern scenes. So again, that can work really well. So in my opinion, this is great. I'm looking forward to this. Obviously, I don't know how successful this can be. That's what worries me because I don't think there are too many people asking for a Highlander reboot. At the same time, who was asking for a Top Gun reboot? And obviously,
Yeah, we
very, very
still got
successful.
exactly.
So there's that. Anyways, moving on to the Social Network sequel because this is interesting, Franco. This is very, very interesting. I want to talk about this with you. David Fincher does not rule out making a sequel to the Social Network, but he does call it a can of worms. So this is a direct quote by David Fincher. David Fincher isn't quite ready to give a like to the concept of doing a sequel to his 2010 Academy Award-winning film about the founding of Facebook, the social network. Fincher talked about it with The Guardian in support of his new movie with Michael Fassbender, obviously, The Killer. And he mentioned that Aaron Sorkin and himself have talked about it, but that's a can of worms. And obviously did not elaborate on that. Just to conclude this, Sorkin had commented about this in 2021 when he said that I think what has been going on with Facebook these last few years is a story very much worth telling, and there is a way to tell it as a follow up to the social network. And that's as much as I know. As a follow-up, sorry, to social network, and that's as much as I know. What do you think, Franco? Would you be looking forward to a sequel to the social network?
Oh yes, and for sure. I mean, what like Sorkin said, like with what was happening with Facebook and the influence it has over the what's the call it, over the politics and the elections. It's incredible. So it's worthwhile seeing. And Aaron Sorkin has quite some material to sink his teeth in. So there we have it. You know.
Definitely. I think there's material for a great movie there. Very, very, very good movie. I hope David Fincher.
Like if I would suggest some things to listen to, even to our viewers, to listen to the podcast Behind the Bastards about Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, because you'd be really like your jaw will drop on your floor with the things that went behind the scenes, basically.
Will do. I've never checked it out actually, Franco. It's one of the podcasts that's on my list.
Behind
You've mentioned it a few times.
Always, it's a great fun podcast, like our podcast, and they very well researched as well.
Nice. We'll definitely check it out. SAG-AFTRA, this is reaching its peak, Franco. I was reading some comments that if they do not reach an agreement this week, that's probably not going to be an agreement before next year. So far, apparently this weekend, SAG-AFTRA leadership continued to bargain with the major studios on Sunday, But despite growing optimism around the industry, no deal has been reached yet. The union presented its latest proposal to the studios on Saturday. The two sides were said to be engaged in productive talks through the weekend, so there was some positivity there. But unfortunately, it seems that some tough conversations are still being had, as they have yet to resolve the thorny issues around regulation of AI.
Mm.
Another said that the talks are progressing in the right direction. So there's mixed feelings around these talks. Obviously, SAG-AFTRA still pushing for the actors and members of SAG-AFTRA to go and to the picket lines, keep on protesting, obviously, keep on pushing for rights, and we've talked about this 1,000 times, Franco, at this point. Now, this is the second aspect to it. Obviously, then we've got the studios, which are panicking, right? We've got Ted Sarandos of Netflix, Bella Langley of NBC Universal, David Zaslav of Warner Brothers and Discovery, and Bob Iger of Disney, who have warned that time is running out on the 2023-2024 TV season. And as we will comment next, I can move that here, for a good segue, several blockbusters have been moved off their 2024 release dates and moved on to 2025, because obviously the theatrical calendar is a complete disaster. The CEOs actually joined the discussions, Franco, by the way, this weekend. It was interesting to see. And so this weekend the CEOs joined, but now the negotiations have continued with Carol Lombardini, who is the CEO of the Alliance of AMPTP, basically. There's that, and then the other element to it, Franco, is obviously Halloween. The whole Halloween controversy with SAG-AFTRA telling its members not to dress up as characters from studio films and TV shows. SNL actually devoted an entire sketch to poking fun at this role, with Sarah Sherman portraying SAG-AFTRA president Fran Drescher, and there were some actors and actresses like Megan Fox who posted an image on Instagram and literally tagged SAG-AFTRA in that post, in which she dressed up as Gogo Yubari from obviously Kill Bill Volume 1. Franco, do you know if you want to comment about any of that? Lots of stuff to say, to be honest.
I mean, let's find. I mean, about the delays, serves you right for the CEOs. I'm sorry, like I'm ready to wait on movies. There's other movies to watch. It's not like we're sick of movies. Like we're starved of movies. Like we've saw an Argentine movie, for example. Right now, I saw another Spanish movie, Sister Death. So there's plenty of movies to go about and shows. I mean, if they got the deal with for the writers, why are they not getting the deals for the actors? One thing. And secondly, yeah, that was a bit the friend Drescher saying like not to dress as characters. It's taking a bit too far. Come on, it's Halloween. Like these actors need to have some fun while they're out and have nothing to do, basically. So
I think that's I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think that's a very, very stupid ruling. Very stupid ruling. I think there's bigger battles to fight.
No, for sure.
Actors and actresses dressing up as a character from a movie.
And yeah, like I said, they need to have fun. Like Jesus Christ, it's like But you're right. I stand behind what you said. It's stupid.
It is. Ryan Reynolds actually had a fun take to it. He actually dressed up his son as Deadpool. And then he was like, "No, son, no, don't dress up as Deadpool. No, you can't dress up as Deadpool." And it was actually quite funny. It was a funny take on the whole thing. So I think goes to show. I mean, obviously, like I said, there's bigger battles to fight, bigger fish to fry. Let's be honest. Talking about big fish to fry, man, this looks awful. So there's a lot to go into here, Franco. Let's start off with this monstrosity.
I'm sorry.
Let's start off with this monstrosity. This looks god awful. I mean, I'm so happy that this has been delayed to 2025 because a lot of work needs to go into this. Franco, what do you think?
Show me a visual representation of a face palm, basically.
By the way, Franco, for our Spotify listeners, we are commenting about Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. We've got a shot here with Rachel Ziegler in Disney's Snow White, obviously, and we're making fun of the How do you describe it? I
No,
don't even know how to describe this.
look, there was this first there was this whole issue about having a diverse cast playing the dwarves, which is like okay, I see what you tried to do now. But then Peter Dinklage came out. I think he had a bit of. He was right in saying like, okay, can we just like, hello, I am what I am. It's like I think that role was basically almost for me, and they could have consulted him, and only for them to turn around and then do CG dwarves. Like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, are you genuinely serious? It's like. It's like you're rubbing now you're rubbing the nose in it, basically rubbing Peter
Yep.
Dinklage's nose in it, and
This looks
it's
awful,
oh
awful, 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 awful. To continue with this, because there's quite a lot of stuff to say. First of all, obviously, we just commented why there are delays. Disney has delayed a couple of movies. We've got this Disney Snow White, which has been delayed a year from March 22nd, 2024 to March 21st, 2025. There's that. There's a delay also for Pixar's Elio, which has been delayed for more than a year from March 1st, 2024 to June 13th, 2025. So a couple of movies there by Disney delayed. There's also delays. There's actually not delayed, completely cancelled is a magazine Dreams, which starring Jonathan Majors. That obviously has nothing to do with the strike. That's completely to do with Jonathan Majors'
yeah,
legal troubles. Which by the way, the trial is going to take place on November 29, because I was seeing that
okay.
that apparently the trial is going to actually take place. There's that, and then there's also Mission Impossible, which is departing the 2024 box office calendar. Which, by the way, Mission Impossible is not going to be called Dead Reckoning Part 2, but it's going to have a completely different name. Which is going to be a bit weird, because obviously you have Part 1 and then
And then
Part 1
it's
and
like,
what?
what?
So there's that. Franco, don't know if you want to comment about any of that.
No, I mean, looking forward at least for Mission Impossible, man. And is it the conclusion now? It's like, or who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Is
Depends on how
it,
much money it makes.
isn't it the one that's going to be filmed in Malta? Apparently,
It is? I had no
there
idea.
were rumors that some of the scenes were going to be filmed in Malta, and it's like, yeah, I think there won't. Like, my first reaction was there won't be any car chases in Malta because Tom Cruise would be stuck in traffic.
We're completely stuck
Stuck
in
in
traffic.
traffic.
There's
Yeah.
no way there.
So, but
It'd be
so he
bizarre. Imagine doing that in Marsa.
or
There's no way you're surviving
or
that.
or the Santa Fe tunnels, or
Oh
or
my
the
god.
or the coast road, or
No,
chat, tell us, like, even, or comment, like, leave a comment about the traffic you find in the morning.
the worst traffic you find in the
I
morning.
mean, definitely, like, lots of what you call it. He'll definitely have lots of running scenes since he's be stuck in traffic. So
Yep.
there you go.
Jumping out of the car to escape.
Exactly.
Talking about bad stuff we have in Malta. Intermissions. Well, sometimes I agree with intermissions. I'm going to be honest. I'm on the side of Killers of the Flower Moon needed an intermission. But what am I talking about here? Well, basically, editor, obviously, Thelma Shoemaker is a legendary editor who has been editing movies for Scorsese for bloody years. And obviously, she's quite upset that a lot of cinemas around the world, in the US and in the EU, have been putting in intermissions. And she said that I understand that somebody's running it with an intermission, which is not right. That's a violation. So I have to find out about it. And apparently, there have been a lot of theaters which have been informed that if they continue with intermissions, they will basically cancel the showings. All right. What's your take about this, Franco,
And
with regard to intermissions?
I needed it for look. Remember last time when I said Oppenheimer, I never hated an intermission that much because it fucked with its timing.
Hmm.
With this one, it's like, okay, thank God there was the intermission. Still, though, it's not supposed to be like that. There shouldn't be an intermission. Intermission is like, as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather, like I said, I'd rather they be a bit more tough with the directors that tell them, listen, can you just chop it down to 3 hours? And I'm also winning this debate with Joe. There had places where Killers of the Flower Moon could be chopped down to 3 hours. No, but silliness aside, it's not supposed. There shouldn't be an intermission. Plus, I do feel now. Do generally feel that it fucks up with the rhythm of the movie. And I think for me, Oppenheimer was one of the best case scenario about it. Like,
where it completely ruined the rhythm. But that's the style of movie that Oppenheimer was as well.
no, but
The way it was edited.
but I guess even other movies like. Who knows? Who knows? It depends. Uh, I'm more on the side of not having an intermission, and I think actually I know I joked about with Joe about this, but Joe can tell the difference it makes not having an intermission. No, I can also speak about not having an intermission because I watched movies abroad, and it's a completely different experience. Especially watching Dune as well. Dune, oh man. Yeah,
The thing with intermission, sometimes even like, for example, you've got a 1 hour 30-minute horror movie, and you've got 1 hour 30 minutes. It's not long. You don't need an intermission. And you've got horror movies are all about the building of tension, and you're building up the tension. Then suddenly, boom, 45 minutes in, the movie's already halfway through, and stop. We got the intermission. For for me, that's criminal. Because for me, that completely ruins the tension that has been built up by the movie. Like, for example, me and Bruce had gone to watch Cobweb in the cinemas. I mean, I was having such a good time. And unfortunately, the best moment was right before the intermission. Now I was really into it, and then stop. And then everyone's laughing and joking around, and obviously you go out to relax a little bit, have some popcorn. And by the time the movie starts again, all that tension that the movie worked so hard to build, boom, is gone. And you need to start all over again. But the movie is not edited with that in mind.
no, exactly. That's the thing.
So that's my take on it. Now, with a movie like Killers of the Flower Moon, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little like, woof, when we got the intermission. I was like, I needed a break.
But again, considering that we went exactly after work as well, like I felt it as well.
Yes. That's true. Anyways, let us know, everyone in the chat. What do you think about intermissions? Tell us. Let us know. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you for intermissions or against? Let us know. Moving on to the last two small pieces of news. First of all, Franco, have you watched any of the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movies?
Just the first one. It's okay.
What were your thoughts?
Okay. I mean, did we need it? Not necessarily.
Not really.
It's just capitalizing on the Harry Potter series, and it's too much capitalizing. Not gonna get into the turf controversies. It has nothing to do with the movies. Yeah, it's like finally a milked cow is laid to death, basically.
True. So, for our viewers and listeners, Fantastic Beasts director says franchise has been parked. That's a literal quote, parked by Warner Brothers. David Yates, who's right now has a movie. What movie does he have? Oh, I can't remember what movie he has. But anyways, David Yates said that
Painkillers, no? Isn't it Painkillers?
Oh, yes, Painkillers, exactly. No, not Painkillers.
Pain Hustlers.
Pain Hustlers, which is out on Netflix. Obviously, he was probably giving an interview about that. He was on the podcast, Inside Total Film Podcast. Anyways, and he said, with Beasts, for a minute, it's all just parked. We got to the end of the third film, 2020's Fantastic Beasts. That's 2020. Jesus, I remember a review for that. And we're all so proud of that movie. And when it went out into the world, we just need to sort of stop and pause and take it easy. Now, this is interesting. The idea that there was going to be 5 films was a total surprise to most of us. Rowling just mentioned it spontaneously at a press screening once. We were presenting some clips of Fantastic Beasts. We'd all signed up for Fantastic Beasts 1 very enthusiastically, and Joe, bless her, came on and said, oh, by the way, there's 5 of them. We all looked at each other because no one had told us there were going to be 5. We'd committed to this one, so that was the first we'd heard of it. And can I be honest? It really does show that they weren't prepared for more than one movie.
Yep.
It really does show, because the first one was okay. It was fine. I had a good time watching it. Fantastic Beasts were interesting to see. But the second one and the third one, I don't even know why it was called Fantastic Beasts, because the focus on the Fantastic Beasts was little to none. And I'd be lying if I said I hated the second one. I didn't hate the second one. And I'd be lying to say if I hated the third one, because I had an okay time with the third one as well. But overall, we really did not need them. Honestly, as a massive fan of Harry Potter, we really did not need them. Better to go to the direction of the video game Hogwarts Legacy, which was a very, very interesting take of the whole Hogwarts. Like, that is how I hope they will go in the future, because obviously this is a cow that will continue to be milked, right? There's no way they're going to stop releasing Harry Potter stuff. So I'd prefer if they went the Hogwarts Legacy direction, where like you have a random new student going to Hogwarts with new, fresh experiences there. In my opinion, that's a much better direction, and a direction that has been successful for the video game because it made a ton of money. I don't think you have any comments about this, right, Franco?
No, like I said, even for me, I didn't mind the first movie whatsoever. So there I have it.
Yeah. So viewers and listeners, let us know in the comment section below. Would you be excited for a future Harry Potter movie? Or are you sad that the Fantastic Beasts franchise seems to be parked for now, seems to be on hold? Let us know in the comment section below. And to conclude our news, guys, this little piece of news got my attention because there was a new study from UCLA which broke down exactly what Gen Z wants to see and not see. And apparently, Gen Z wants less sex in movies. So this is a study conducted for American viewers between the ages of 10 and 24. And while 47.5% said sex isn't needed for most TV shows and movies, with 44% feeling romance is overused, also 44% agree with a statement saying that they would rather clean the toilet than go on an online date. That's interesting. Also very interesting, Franco, listen to this. The majority of those surveyed prefer to watch original stories rather than franchises, adaptations, and remakes. Hollywood, listen to this study. So that's at least one thing they have in common with older viewers. Please listen to this study.
Like I always said, do we really need a reboot? No.
No, we don't. So I hope Hollywood listened to this study. But then there's some stuff I'm not too happy about. So for example, no, this obviously I'm very happy that this is mentioned, that racial stereotypes in shows were intensely disliked. In fact, this is weird though. Just having a person of color portraying a villain or portraying a character with negative traits was also disliked. Like, why can't you have a villain?
Because it's coming. No, but it's becoming a sort of a trope now. Again, it's like Killmonger, Jonathan Major, He Who Remains.
No, but now it's the opposite. No, I feel like it's the opposite.
No. There was Riz Ahmed as well. There was Riz Ahmed. There was who else? There was quite this kind. Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson and Kingsman as well. You know.
But what's wrong with having a person of color portraying an interesting villain?
No, an interesting. It's not an interesting villain. A villain, an interesting villain is fine. Like Killmonger was a very interesting villain. It's one of the best villains we had.
Exactly.
There are other, like Samuel L. Jackson. Kingsman was not really good. Riz Ahmed as well. I feel like
I don't know. I disagree with this. I don't think Hollywood should be worried to put a person of color with negative traits.
It depends.
I think that's
it depends.
Very slippery slope.
It depends. It depends. I feel it's more a question of quantity and quality. It's like how many villains are we seeing to be persons of color? That's what I'm saying. So it generally depends. I'm on the fence about it, but we'll see where the trend is going as well.
This worried me a little bit because Gen Z considers social media to be authentic media, with TikTok considered the most authentic platform.
No, trust.
And this is worrying, very, very worrying. This is something I try to tell my students. Like, listen, you know, right, that TikTok has one of the most manipulative algorithms ever, which pushes an algorithm that pushes misinformation in a very, very scary way. Very, very scary way. Franco.
No, you know what, I'm generally not sure about Gen Z having less sex to begin with. I'm not sure because it's I know that online dating, yes, I've heard that it's become such a hot potato issue almost. But and again, like this is in the US, and like out the sample they got was 1,500 people, you know, between 10 and
Uh-huh.
24, you know.
Uh-huh. 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 Uh-huh.
So I
I
think
don't know. I don't know.
it is to be taken with a pinch of salt,
To be
actually.
fair, on Twitter, I saw a lot of Gen Zers agreeing with this. Some other comments which can be taken out is that their favorite team in stories was hopeful, uplifting content with people beating the odds and people with lives like my own. Interesting
Content.
content, basically. Yeah.
No, listen. The question about sex, like, yeah, sometimes it's needless. Sometimes it's needless. But for example, the new scene of Jennifer Lawrence, that was
Uh-huh,
hilarious.
uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. That's what I was going to ask you about, Franco. I think we had commented about this in a
Yeah, yeah.
previous episode. There were some people on Twitter, obviously, who had said, "Listen, this is unnecessary," or some people are actually offended seeing Jennifer Lawrence.
But then you're taking out the agency of Jennifer Lawrence to begin, who agreed to do that scene to begin with. Like, Jesus Christ, grow the fuck up, though.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Sorry, I got
mm-hmm.
angry, but because one, it was hilarious. Two, it was necessary because one of they tried to bully them, the guys who took away their clothes. Like, the fuck, are we watching the same movie or not? Sometimes,
Yep.
but that's
Yep.
what
So
happened.
it's a
But
weird one. It's a weird one.
that's what happens when you think TikTok is authentic media.
Yes, that's the one thing that worries me because listen, don't get me wrong, TikTok is for what it's worth. I enjoy scrolling a bit through TikTok. Obviously, I enjoy it because the algorithm knows me exactly what kind of person I am and provides me with the kind of content that knows it will keep my attention. But that's the exact thing why I should be worried about it as well. It's anything but authentic, trust me. There's so much misinformation, so much
That's
misinformation.
one.
Even for example, last time I was listening to a TikTok and I agreed with most of the stuff that was being said, but then there was some really horrific misinformation about the Palestine-Israel issue. Lots of misinformation with regard to the history. Listen,
Yeah,
I'm no expert of the history with the Palestine-Israeli conflict, but I've studied it quite a bit. And for me, who I consider myself to be quite misinformed, I noticed the misinformation just there and then without even having to look it up. Like some of the dates and some of the numbers were completely off. And I was like, listen, what the fuck is this? Like, this is completely wrong. So,
thank you, Prager, fucking you, basically. Prager.
and misinformation on both sides. Don't get me wrong. Tough Franco, if you I'm not saying this is misinformation only
No,
from
no,
one
no,
side.
but yeah, but
The video I was watching was listen, everyone who knows me knows who I support. I'm not going to say it
yeah,
on the show, but if you know me, you know who I support. But there was misinformation from the side that I support as well. Very serious misinformation, very scary misinformation, mind you. So it's in this case, I hate being a both sides person, but it is a both sides case in this situation, definitely. Anyways, that's it with regard to the news. Viewers and listeners, let us know if any of this news has interested you in the comment section below. As always, like and subscribe. Like, subscribe.
we're not doing the local news. I basically linked
Oh,
the
the local
article.
news. Sorry.
I linked
Here we
it in
go. Here we go.
the chat over
I
here.
forgot because it wasn't listed in my links. So that's why I've completely forgot. So before we get to the reviews, viewers and listeners, we have to talk about this little article we got on the Sunday Times of Malta. See if I can zoom in. I can't really zoom in that much, Franco.
No, it's
Into the
fine, but
article.
like this was shared by Wayne Flask, but again, friend of the show Matthew Maggi gave us a heads up about this, that apparently there was delays in funds. And in the article, Mark Lords on Meat says that basically the funds were given after they contacted them about this whole delay thing. So just so that they covered their tracks. But apparently there seems to be because of some context breaches, the Finance Ministry of Malta suspended funds from being given like all over the board, basically. So local productions were kind of in a very tense situation where they might not get paid for pre-production to begin with. Uh, Fortunately, everything went well. Like the productions got their monies, but that is for me, this is sounding already the alarm bells, which I have been sounding since the beginning of this fucking tenure of this guy. Who, again, I will remind our listeners, we gave the opportunity for him to explain himself for this whole thing, but obviously, and I can vouch myself, whenever we try to contact and have their comments, there basically there's no response. So I cannot be telling you, oh, I can there's if there's no response, like don't expect people to come defend, and yeah, it's a very worrying case, and especially like after seeing, I'm tying this with video analysis because like I said, I'm gonna make it public immediately. I was impressed by the passion and the dedication that was given, regardless of how good or how bad the movies were. And if that passion and dedication is not honed and taken care of, we're gonna have another also artistic brain drain. So, but again, this is on us if we don't speak the fuck up, because something that annoyed me a lot in this article is people are speaking on conditions of anonymity, understandably because they might lose the funding, but we cannot keep on going I'm saying, I'm speaking out in public. I've got nothing to lose. I maybe might lose the funding because people like these are petty people. Unfortunately, the people in charge. I'm saying not the crew. Mind you, I have deep respect for the crew who work on these movies, but the people in charge are petty and they don't take kindly to criticism. But fuck it, there's nothing. Like I said, there's nothing to lose. And I quote Andor, like, I'm fighting for a sunrise that I might not be able to see.
Let's go.
All right.
Grande, Franco. All right. Very good. Mela. Shall we get into the reviews, Franco?
Tlaqna.
And starting off, unfortunately, obviously, Joe was not able to join us, so we'll have to push his review of The Killer for next week, which means that our next review will be The Royal Hotel. We'll start off with The Royal Hotel, Franco.
Yeah, go
I'll
go
give
for
my
it.
review for that. Hold on 1 second. Let me bring up IMDb. So, The Royal Hotel is a 2023 Australian psychological thriller film. It's described as a psychological thriller film. It is directed by Kitty Green. Kitty Green, who obviously directed one of my favorite movies, absolute favorite movies of 2019, The Assistant. Have you watched The Assistant, Franco?
Not yet. I haven't seen any of Kitty Green's movies so far. But
I would definitely.
she retained with the main actor. Well, in main.
Yes, Julia
okay.
Garner. Julia Garner. So Julia Garner obviously starred in 2019's The Assistant. These are two movies which tackle, I wouldn't say tackle exactly the same themes, but do kind of have a bit of the similar themes. Obviously, they're both two very strong, powerful feminist movies, strong feminist themes. But the way Kitty Green approaches The Assistant, by the way, let me bring up The Assistant as well for our viewers and listeners who might not have watched that movie. So the way Kitty Green tackled the feminist themes in The Assistant are very different to the way she tackles them in The Royal Hotel. Anyways, let's start off with what is The Royal Hotel all about. Basically, we've got Julia Garner starring in this, Jessica Henwick and Herbert Nordrum as US backpackers Hannah and Liv take a job in a remote Australian pub for some extra cash and are confronted with a bunch of unruly locals and a situation that grows rapidly out of their control. Now, like I said, The Royal Hotel and The Assistant, two movies which tackle very strong, very powerful feminist themes in two completely different fashions. So The Assistant is a more quiet movie. You see kind of like the way it tackles sexual harassment on the job is kind of more subtle, more nuanced way. With regards to The Royal Hotel, the kind of like the sexual harassment and the sexual abuse faced by women is all out, right? All out, completely out. Um, I wouldn't call The Royal Hotel not a nuanced movie. It is still a very smart movie, but it's more evident, right? It's very evident. So the themes are tackled all out, all out. Whilst with The Assistant, it's a very different. Even Julia Garner's performance is very quiet. It's a very quiet movie, very quiet performance. With the most of the sexual abuse that takes place in The Assistant takes place behind closed doors. I love The Assistant. I really like The Assistant. So for anyone who hasn't watched The Assistant, go ahead and watch it. But talking about The Royal Hotel, did I like The Royal Hotel? I'd say I had a good time watching. To say I had a good time watching it is a very weird thing because it's a well-made movie. It's a well-made movie. Obviously, due to the themes it tackles, it's hard to call it fun, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, obviously, for obvious reasons. So, like I said, Julia Garner's character in this is no longer a silent sideliner like she was in The Assistant. This time she is front and center to the sexual harassment that we see take place in this movie. What did I like? Main performances, especially Julia Garner. I love Julia Garner. I think she's a fantastic actress. And once more, she gives a fantastic performance in this. I think there's a lot of subtlety in her performance. Fantastic. And there's a great contrast between her character and the character, obviously, of Jessica Henwick, Hannah and Liv. Two very different personalities. There is not a lot of depth to their characters. That I will say. I wanted maybe a bit more depth to, like, I wanted to know more about them, right? We get to know literally almost nothing about them. But the performances are fantastic. There's a great contrast to their performances. The way they approach kind of like the sexual harassment and abuse that they face. Two very different personalities and two very different ways of approaching it, which I really liked. Again, the concept of this movie is very interesting, right? Putting two. I mean, obviously, I don't think it's something controversial to say that Jessica Henwick and Julia Garner are both very good looking persons, and putting two very good looking persons in a remote mining town filled with lots of macho men, right? And let the mess take place. I think that concept is great. It's a great concept. And up to that, I really liked it. So for most of the movie, I was enjoying it. I thought it was a well-made movie, well shot. Good elements of horror in it as well. There are some touches of horror here and there. I can tell Kitty Green should make a horror movie because both The Assistant and The Royal Hotel are kind of like, they're not horror movies, but they are disguised as horror movies. There's some interesting horror elements. I want to see her tackling a horror movie. Even the way she plays with shadows. There are some scenes with the door which are great, really good stuff. The setting itself is great. The hotel in which they stay, it's perfect again for a horror movie. The runtime is perfect for this movie. 1 hour 30 minutes, great pacing, well-paced movie. The tone in this is also fantastic. I really like the tone and the atmosphere that is developed by the director. Really, really well done. The tension that builds is fantastic. And overall, great job by Kitty Green with regard to that. Now, the negatives. There are two big negatives that kind of like reduced my not enjoyment, but how much I appreciated this movie. First of all, the ending felt like it was taken from a completely different movie. I'm not going to spoil the ending, obviously, for our viewers and listeners, and for you, Franco. I'm sure you'd like to watch this movie, but the ending is feels like it was taken from a completely different movie. And then I spoke to my dad after, and he was like, "Yes, I agree. I didn't like the ending at all. It felt like, again, it was taken from a completely different movie." So the ending, I can't really go into details, but I didn't like it at all. There's that, and some moments in the movie felt. I did say I enjoyed the tone. I enjoyed the tone for the most part because some moments felt a little tonally jarring. Again, certain moments in this movie felt like they were taken again from a different movie. It feels like there's the ideas of two different movies here, which are joined together. There's one movie in which we see our protagonists kind of like in a very awkward situations, in very, very like really, really awful situations where you're like, oh, guys, just shut the fuck up. Don't be assholes. Um,
Uh,
and then these situations kind of keep on increasing and increasing in their intensity and how serious they are. But there were moments where I was like, yeah, this isn't it. This isn't it. Overall, however, I had a good time watching it. I highly recommend watching The Royal Hotel. It's a well-made movie done by a director who I'm looking forward, really excited to see more of her stuff. Kitty Green, I know that she made a couple of
the
couple of
documentary.
other
Did
yeah,
I,
a couple of documentaries.
ca-
Apparently, she directed the series as well, Servant, which I saw lots of positive stuff mentioned about it as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing more by Kitty Green. I hope apparently she wants to turn this into a trilogy. So there's going to be
okay.
another Julia Garner
Movie.
movie, starring in a movie with like strong feminist themes. And she said it's going to be again even more out there than the Royal Hotel. So that will be interesting to see. I'll be honest, I prefer The Assistant to the Royal Hotel, but that's maybe just me because I'm the kind of person who really likes when a director approaches a topic in a very like quiet, nuanced way, which is maybe why I really liked Killers of the Flower Moon because that was one quiet
Okay.
movie. Rating for the Royal Hotel, I was between a 3 and a 3.5. I think I'll give it a 3.5. I think it's a very, very well made movie, very positive themes. Go watch it. Obviously, I did quite dislike the ending. So that is my review for the Royal Hotel. Franco, shall we get into When Evil Lurks or shall I review Five Nights at Freddy's?
Let's go Five Nights at Freddy's, and then we finish with When Evil Lurks.
Okie dokie. So, quick review for Five Nights at Freddy's. Um, Sorry, but I didn't like it. I'm sure most of the viewers will come into this video and you will check it out after. Will come in seeing the thumbnail of Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm sorry, I'm gonna shit on that movie quite a bit. Yeah. But what is Five Nights at Freddy's all about? Josh Hutcherson stars as a troubled security guard who accepts a nighttime job at an abandoned family entertainment center where he discovers its four animatronic mascots come alive and are prone to murder. So obviously, Five Nights at Freddy's is based on the video game franchise of the same name, created by Scott Cawthon. It is directed by Emma Tammy, who co-wrote the screenplay with himself, Cawthon himself. So, Five Nights at Freddy's. I was quite excited to watch this. I knew that some of the reviews for it were not great. But I also knew that a lot of fans of the video game were really liking it. And when I looked up Five Nights at Freddy's on Google, I saw it actually has a 4.4 out of 5 on Google. So I was like, maybe maybe it's just the usual critics being snobs. I watched it. Yeah, I didn't have a good time. But let me comment about some of the positives first before I get into all the negatives I have. First of all, to be fair, it's quite a cheaply made movie. Obviously, this is Blumhouse, and for a 20 million budget, I think this is a well made. The production design for it is well done. I think the animatronics look decent, look actually quite good. There's a lot of obviously practical effects there as well, mixed with CGI, of course, but most of it is practical, which is good. Up to there, positive. I thought some of the atmosphere that is built in I don't even know if this is a restaurant or it's described as an entertainment
It's
center,
it's
but we're
a
calling it an
it's
entertainment.
a it's a franchise, like Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese was basically
Yeah,
that
like Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah.
exactly. So yeah,
I mean, anyways, it's Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, so I'll just call it a restaurant at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. But the atmosphere that is built there is great. Eh, but that's obviously one of the negatives I was going to comment about. The negative I'll mention later on. And some of the horror scenes, again, some of the horror scenes in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is really well done. So there's some good horror. But obviously that leads me then to the fact that although there are some moments of well done horror, first of all, it's not scary. Like we're going to review when Evil Lurks later on. That movie had me, oh my god, whoa, like all the time. And Five Nights at Freddy's just had me like,
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
okay. I mean, okay, that was a good scene. It was a fine horror scene, but I mean, come on, give me more.
Yeah,
I need more from
it's
this.
it's like a chapter from Goosebumps, basically, what we can say.
You know, there's the Goosebumps series, which actually is getting a lot of praise.
Yep.
Franco releasing on Disney Plus. It's
Yep.
actually one I'm interested in starting.
Yep. And wait, but because I don't know if it's the one starring Chevy Chase or and then Ike, right?
I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, to continue with the review, in the meantime, you
Hmm.
can look it up, Franco. Well, obviously, there's the fact that there's little to no frights. Actually, I can stop sharing now. Might as well share our beautiful faces. Second thing I wanted to mention is I got a comment on Twitter because I complained on Twitter as well about this, that there is too much focus on family drama. And then there was a comment on Twitter. Again, I haven't played the games. By the way, I should have mentioned that at the start of the review. I haven't played any of the games, not aware of any of the lore. So keep in mind that I'm ignorant on those stuff. And this comment on Twitter said that was like, listen, Five Nights at Freddy's, there's a big focus on family drama on Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know if that's true or not. If it's true, I'm not interested at all in ever playing those games because, you know, I like family drama when it's done well, but getting into a game or a movie called Five Nights at Freddy's with animatronics that slaughter people, I don't care about the family drama, honestly. You know what the sad thing is about this? That the movie does a really good job at the start, setting up Josh Hutcherson's character and kind of like the family drama that's just pushing him to take this job. And it was done in a really, really efficient way. And I was like, this is great stuff. Great stuff. Keep this up. And then he goes into like Freddy's Fazbear's Pizza. The opening scene, by the way, is also very well done. He goes into Freddy's Fazbear's Pizza. Great stuff, building the atmosphere. And then suddenly we go back to his everyday life and his family drama. I'm like, wait, what? Like, that's it. And it's very weird. It's very weird. It's very weird. And this leads me to my next point. Is that it's so slow and it's so bloody boring. The mid, like 30, 35 minutes in, like the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, I was in. I was looking forward to watching this movie. I was excited. I ordered takeaway. I was eating my burger and I'm watching Five Nights at Freddy's. 20 minutes in, it's great. But then we go back to the family drama stuff. I'm like, what? Like, we're really going to give this much focus on the family drama? And it's boring and it's not well done family drama, because if it's well done, it's well done. But this is anything but well done. So there's that. Anyways, the family drama goes on for too long. Also, we're going to mention this later on as well, Franco, on our final review. But oh my god, the characters are so stupid. Why does everyone have to be so fucking stupid in these movies? Like, please. I'm sure there is a smart writer who is able to write smart characters in a horror movie. Please give me a smart character in a horror movie. Like, I can't stand people acting in such stupid fashion in a horror movie. I can't stand it.
But for the next movie, maybe there must have been a point for this.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Here it's just stupid person acting stupid just because, you know, I mean, the horror scenes have to take place, right? So the person has to act in a stupid way, which really got me out of it as well. That's another aspect that really like ruined the fun for me. And I have to mention this as well. My final point, man, that supporting cast was horrible. Like, I'm sorry to say, Josh Hutcherson, I like. He's a good actor.
He's
a
also
decent actor.
He's also underused. I think he needs
very underused.
Yeah.
And he gives a fine performance in this, but the rest, I'm sorry. I mean, Matt Lillard is severely underused in this. Severely underused. This movie needed more of Matt Lillard in this, as Steve Recklin. By the way, the whodunit is the most obvious thing ever. Like, the opening 10 minutes of the movie, I'm like, oh my god, of course it's that person. Like, it's so obvious. It's like, it's so obvious. Like, you generally, horror movies give you like really slight hints. This gives you like, boom, it's like, it's me. Oh my god, I was like, oh god, This is so obvious. But anyways, final rating for Five Nights at Freddy's. I think I'm between a 2.5 and a 2. The more I think about it, the lower I go. I gave it a 2.5 on Letterboxd. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with a 2 here. I'll reduce it to a 2 because, listen, I didn't hate it, mind you. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it either. So a 2 from me, 2 out of 5 from me. On Five Nights at Freddy's, which leads us, Franco, to When Evil Lurks. I was excited to talk about this movie with you. So, Franco, tell us.
So, When
what
Evil
is- I'm
Lurks.
going to bring it up on the big screen here. When Evil Lurks, what was it all about?
When Evil Lurks is an Argentinian horror that I think it premiered on the TIFF, Toronto International Toronto International Film Festival. It's a story that's set in a remote village where two brothers find a demon-infected man just about to give birth to evil itself, and they decide to get rid of the man, but merely succeed in spreading the chaos. And spreading the chaos they did.
Oh my God.
So, I saw a review where they compared this to Hereditary. I see where they were getting at. Yes. No. But the horror is genuinely brutal and visceral. Like, you rarely see this kind of horror, especially if I mention the dog scene, where they show what happens.
What was your reaction? My reaction, Franco, was, oh my God.
I was. This is the thing. I think it's a very well directed scene, especially a well edited scene. So
the camera placement.
Yes, like there was so much tension there was so much tension in that scene, and then it's like, okay, oh my god, the dog. I was going like this. I knew what's going to happen, and still got a shock, and it's like, holy shit. Myself, I was like, holy shit, it went there. The practical effects. I think I like the practical effects a lot. Like, and yes, if you're really sensitive, this film goes there. And when I say goes there, kids get hurt, big time.
Mm-hmm.
And even there's the poster. There's a great. It's also shows what's gonna happen. That was also a very visceral scene.
There's no point in praying.
It's so. Is that? No, I thought it was Edgar Wright, but it wasn't Edgar Wright. I think it's one of the actors.
Maybe one of the actors or the director. I don't know the director.
What can I say about this? Because it's a movie that you have to discover it, and as far as the story is very simple. It's like it's very simple. It's like they're trying to defeat this evil, but what the two characters, the two main protagonists are doing is just spreading the evil everywhere. And you said we were mentioning about the stupidity of certain characters and their decisions. I think this was the point in the movie. I said this is a bit of an indictment of machismo and toxic masculinity, because while I was thinking about it, it's like, why are they not communicating between each other as well? It's like this is what happened, you know. It's like, okay, because much of the problems is them not communicating, which is like, it was frustrating. And I think it's a part of the themes that the movie wanted to cover. It depends though. I mean, some people might take it on the other side, like, why are they making these decisions? I'm not liking this movie. But I see that it was a good point about it. I'm only giving it though 4 stars on 5, because I think it feels like it needs more exploration of the story. Like, it feels like it needs a sequel or a prequel. In fact, I was like, is there a prequel or is there a sequel?
Yes. So, Franco, that was one of the things I was going to ask you, because that's also one of the things that I mentioned in my points was like, I really love the lore here. I
Mm.
love the lore here. Give me more. I need more from this movie, right?
Mhm.
So that's one of the things I mentioned. I was going to ask you, do you think, I think, so you agree with me that this movie needs more, like we
No,
need to get more out of it?
it needs more. I don't. There seems to be like it's going to be some sequel of sorts, because the lore is great. There's the instruments. There's some instruments being used. Like, what are those instruments? What's happening? Because for the I think at the halfway point we get to know what the infested, no, the rotten, what the rotten
The rotten,
are. Because that's what they call
hmm
them, the demon infested bodies, the rotten
and
are.
the cleaners, like I'd
Exactly.
love to see a cleaner getting into the action then as well. So I think I'd love to have a sequel for this. It's one of the few cases where I say, yeah, this movie
Yeah,
actually needs a
it
sequel,
needs a
because there's
sequel.
fantastic lore here. And I was interested to try. Anything else you want to say, Franco, before I get to my point?
No, no. Yeah, like I said, with the idea of it's an indictment of machismo, as well as like it's really interesting how the female characters had the more logical
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
logical solutions to the situations they found themselves in. And I think the more I think about it, the more like the director tried to say something more rather than just horror, as well. Still,
Yes, lots of social commentary in this. This is
yeah,
a
no,
movie which isn't just pure horror. Lots of, and I'm going to mention some other stuff in
go
my.
go for it, Andrea, go for it.
So, one of the things that I really liked was, and I noticed this at once, like from the opening scene, is like how the director clearly wanted to show, like I don't know what to call it, depression, but like that the rural abandonment. That's it. That's the expression I
Mm-mm.
wanted to go for. The rural abandonment, right? That this feeling of people who are completely abandoned by the authorities. We see them trying to report this person who was possessed, basically, the rotten, and obviously the authorities completely ignoring them. Um, and it's that feeling of abandonment, that feeling of hopelessness, which I think is tackled really, really well in this movie. The feeling of hopelessness in a rural village, basically. I think that is explored so well, and you can feel this like desperation by many of the characters, who are like, oh, like what do we do? What do we leave, right? Did you notice also, Franco, that like no one is questioning it? Almost no one in the village questions it. People in the town do,
Yes,
but people in the village are all believe it at once. They're not
yes,
like,
at once.
"Are you sure it is?" So like you can tell that these people, they've been through some shit, right? They've been through a lot of shit. If they're that quick to believe it. Yeah, I agree with you. This is a very unsettling movie, deeply unsettling movie. There are moments in this movie where my skin was crawling, where I was like, oh my God. Lots of oh my God moments as well.
Yeah,
Clearly, the dog scene,
the car scene as well. The car scene that you just
the car scene, fantastic.
illustrastra as
The
like
two car scenes, there are two particular car scenes. There's the car scene where the boom, the crash, right? Well, they're both crashes eventually. And then there's I think
yes,
that's one of the
yes,
most beautiful scenes in the movie, where you've got, I forgot the names of the two protagonists, but where you've got not the main brother, the other brother, who was driving, switching on the lights, switching on and off the lights, and then suddenly you see,
you see her walking. Yeah, okay.
and then eating. Oh my God, that is fantastic horror. And when I was saying I needed more horror out of Five Nights at Freddy's, listen, maybe we didn't need to have someone eating brains, but you can go a bit more than the usual horror that we got in Five Nights at Freddy's. This went for it.
No,
This went for it and some. And that leads me to the great practical effects. Ronco, I think you'd agree with me that there is some great gore and great practical effects in this.
in the beginning there was a bit of just well, like black humor when they're carrying the rotten, and like pus is coming out of his mouth, and
Yes, yes. And
no.
then they fall, and then it falls, and then
Yeah, yeah, it's it's very black humor, and then it's
yes,
like,
yes, lots of black humor.
and it's what's interesting is like they don't give a shit. It's like, it's lost, it's done. We don't like, illala, it's done possibly.
Mm. So I also wrote down that and I think you will agree with me as well on this, Franco. The camera, some of the camera work here is fantastic.
The,
Like
the opening is
magic
great.
going on.
The opening is
The
great.
opening, it was almost one take, right? The
Almost one
opening
take.
part,
Yeah.
almost one take, and the opening really like built up the tension fantastically, like really well done. So that's great stuff. What else? Like I said, lots of memorable scenes, even the goat scene, right, which you see in the trailer. That's so good. Such great stuff. Great stuff. And yeah, with regard to negatives, I have to mention the illogical character decisions. That's one thing that near the end, especially, did quite ruin it for me. It did ruin the ending for me, or part
Mm,
of the ending, because the second part of the ending was great, but the first part of the ending, obviously, I'm not going to spoil it. It did ruin it a little bit for me. I was like, oh my god, seriously? Of course you're going to do that. Of course. I'm sure they could
mm.
have written that scene a bit. I'll be honest. I'm sure they could have written that scene a bit better.
So Bruce came on. Hi, Bruce. He's the organizer of Video Nasties, and he said, "Please get almost Jesse Buckley on as a guest."
We'll,
We'll try.
we'll try. We'll try, Bruce.
I'll try to uncreep her now. So we'll see if I manage. So, but
Bruce, definitely a movie you need to watch, huh?
when
Definitely a movie you
when
need to
evil
watch.
lurks.
When Evil Lurks, definitely a movie you need to watch. So with regard to rating, you gave it a 4, right, Franco?
Yes, that's one. I think one of the reasons why it's a four, because, like you said, the illogical decisions might make people wonder, but why is he doing these illogical
Mm-hmm,
decisions?
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
it needs more explanation. Again, we don't know if there's going to be a sequel to this movie or not, if there was a prequel to this movie or not. That's basically it. But otherwise, the four is there for the how unsettling this movie is, how visceral this movie is. I think there's more going on behind under the surface, not just like gore and practical effects. Like it's a hard hitting horror, huh?
It is. It is. It is. In my case, I think I'm going to give this a 4.5. I think this is one of the best horror movies I've watched in a very long time. Such great moments, man. This movie is going to stick in my head for a very long time. There are moments in this movie which I swear will stick in my head for a very long time.
True.
I'll never forget some of the scenes in this movie.
Like
Seriously.
when the dog scene happens, it's gonna. Did you feel like, oh my god, it's gonna happen? Oh my god, it's gonna happen.
Yes.
Oh my god,
Yes.
and then it happens. Oh shit, it happened. It's
Like I said, I was watching this with my family, and my dad was constantly going like, "Oh, the dog! Oh, the dog! Oh, the dog! Oh, the dog! Oh!" And when it happened, everyone shouted, "Ah!"
La, la,
La, la. It's actually a really good movie to watch with a group as well.
yeah.
Like I would recommend watching this 2 times. Watch this once in the darkness, pure darkness, just
Oof.
you and the screen, and you will feel things you've never felt. And then watch it with a group of people, and it's a completely different experience. I'd recommend that. But anyways, my rating is a 4.5. Go watch it. When Evil Lurks, I think that's definitely one of the
This
movies
is this is
which will
also
make my top 10.
this is also on Shudder, right?
This is available on Shudder,
Yeah.
exactly. Available on Shudder. If obviously Shudder, please use a VPN. I mean, it's the only way you can access Shudder, unfortunately, by using a VPN. And I think that's pretty much it, Franco.
Yep.
That's our show done and dusted. Lots of reviews, lots of trailers, lots of news today. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Anything else you want to mention, Franco, before we end it here?
No, that's it. Watch When Evil Lurks. Keep in touch on our socials, on our Facebook. Leave us comments. Follow us. Give us a like. Listen to us on Spotify. Thank you for joining us as well today. Thank you for keep on following us today. And for all of you who are going to Video Nasties, we'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you
Live.
tomorrow, definitely. So see you tomorrow, Bruce, if you're still here. Very excited for tomorrow. So again, thank you to our viewers and listeners. Thank you, Franco, for joining me as always. And we miss Bruce. Oh, we miss Bruce.
We miss Joe.
Second time I'm mixing up Bruce and Joe. We miss Joe. Bruce, I don't miss. I'm going to see Bruce tomorrow. But we miss Joe on the show. hopefully we can find a solution to the timing, which is a problem. It's true. And with that, peace.
Peace.
Ciao, ciao, guys.
Ciao, guys.
Thank you for joining us. Ciao, ciao.
And